What's up, everybody? It's me, Colton, for MMOHuts.com, and today I am joined by...
Chris Larson. I'm the general manager for our first-party games here at Hi-Rez Studios.
Which include Paladins and Smite.
And Realm Royale.
Yeah, so he wears all the hats.
Yes.
Every hat.
Every hat.
And actually, one of the things I wanted to ask, but with, now with the studio splits, like you've got Titan Forge working on Smite, Evil Mojo working on Paladins, and Heroic Leap working on Realm Royale. What's it like to wear all those hats over all of those companies?
Really, it's been really awesome because I worked 6 years on Smite as the executive producer, and then I moved over to Paladins this year, and you know what? I knew like only half the people in Paladins, even though a lot of them had been with the company for a year or more. I had never worked with that group, so I really didn't know them, and I didn't understand the product that well. So it was very good for me to go there, and I basically was the executive producer for that game for this year. Now that I'm over all the games, I feel like I have the relationships with the development teams on all of the games. I understand who the people are, I understand the product, and I'm able to hear a design that's being pitched for Smite, and I'm like, oh, guess what? Garrett's working on a very similar system for Paladins. You guys need to talk, because why don't you make it the same? Because you're trying to do the same exact thing. So I feel like before we never really had that person, because we weren't really big enough to have all these large projects that needed like a lot of resources. I feel like that's been a really great thing.
Okay. Now, obviously, and just for your reference, you, the viewer, Chris is actually mostly responsible for saving Paladins.
Like, he's the savior of Paladins.
I get attributed to that, but I don't know if I actually saved it. Okay.
I mean, a lot of the credit does go to the people who've worked super hard to bring Paladins to where it is, but at the head of that ship, like,
he is the man behind it.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, so I started working in Paladins in January of this year. That was right after the OB64 debacle. It took me a while to, I met with the team when I started, and we tried to figure out how to make the product good again. Good, G-U-D. But yeah, so the team just didn't really have the freedom to do what they knew was the right thing to do. And when I walked in, I basically said, what do you guys know the product, you know what the community likes or wants from this game, you tell me what we should do. And Alyssa, lead community manager, basically with errors in the room said, we have to get rid of the Cards Unbound. That system is not going to work, it's not making us any money, and the community hates it. So I was like, okay, let's figure out how to move from that broken system to a system that works. I worked on Smite for many, many years. I kind of knew how to monetize that game where the players, wouldn't hate it. So we brought in some of those lessons learned into Paladins, and I think we made a better product overall.
Absolutely. Now, do you have any kids?
I do. I have 2 children.
So then you understand that, like any good parent, you love all your kids equally, but you usually love one of them just a little more equally.
Yes.
So
which child do I love the most?
I'm giving you basically the Sophie's Choice of development studios. Which game are you the most fond of, if there is one?
You as an MMO player, I assume that you're an MMO player also. Like, you played World of Warcraft, you played
no, actually,
you've never played those.
I played World of Warcraft for several years, but I haven't in a long time.
EverQuest, did you play?
Yeah.
Like, what game were you the most passionate about?
Final Fantasy XIV. When I was passionate about it. Yeah.
How many when you were playing Final Fantasy, how many games were you actually playing during that time, or were you just exclusive to that?
I played like single player stuff on my console.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I worked on Smite, I almost exclusively played Smite because I really wanted to understand it, and I fell in love with the game, right? When I went over to Paladins in January, I only really played the game at a very casual level, very sporadically. I started playing the game a lot, and at that time I was like, I wish I was in Smite. I know that product, and I love the game, and then I was like started playing Paladins, and I'm like, oh, this is a really fun game, and I'm really enjoying it. And then I'm like, I pick a game, and I just engross myself in it. World of Warcraft, Dark Age of Camelot, all of those games. I only played that game for a good length of time. So which one do I love Paladins right now.
It's let me say. Well, and people who've watched us on live streams can attest. I've always said that I like Paladins way more than Smite, mostly because I'm good at Paladins.
I know.
Same.
I found that I'm really good at Paladins.
But
so,
I also
like
the difference for me has always been with Smite, you're dealing with characters that are established in the real world, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
But with Smite you are, but with Paladins.
But Paladins, you never know what you're gonna get.
You're getting like it has more. I don't want to use the word personality, but it feels like it has a little more character to it, like because it's all original stuff.
Right.
Like,
I mean, we have Pepper in the game now.
Yeah.
That's pretty bizarre.
I had a question for you that I wanted to circle back around because you brought up monetization.
Okay.
Now, in the current gaming climate, monetization is a very hot button issue.
Yeah.
Like
almost a bad word.
A lot of people are really concerned with studios like Electronic Arts and some of the more notorious things that they're pulling, Activision
Nexon.
Nexon, Activision Blizzard, we could name a ton. That really employ these monetization systems such that they
are not player friendly.
They more or less take advantage of their audience by either stripping back content that should be compulsory or other means. If there were people who were looking at Hi-Rez games and they were nervous about that kind of thing, like they're new, they don't understand that it's as player friendly as it is.
Right.
What would you say to those people who are coming in? Like, what would be your message on what your guys' views are on monetization to kind of maybe ease their troubles? Or?
Right. Well, to like our current strategy for cross-play and cross-progression obviously is, I feel like the most player-friendly thing possible. If I buy a piece of content on Xbox, I want not to have to buy that content again on the PC. Me as a player, if I have to do that, I'm going to be a pissed off player, right? Like, that is not a good monetization strategy to say. Like, no developer has ever, at least Hi-Rez, I can't speak for everyone, but developers, I don't think, have ever had the strategy that said, hey, I want someone to buy the Founders Pack for Smite on PC, and I want them to spend that money again on Xbox. Like, that's not really, like, that's not a good monetization strategy. We want people to spend money in our games, obviously, but we want them to have unrestricted ability to move that content to other platforms.
Right. And all this stuff is like cosmetic.
Right.
Like you're not buying them.
Chess is another thing that players do not like. We've made, and obviously chess make the game a lot of money because of the randomness of it, and but there are ways to make chess more fair. One is, last year we introduced in Smite like a pick three. Like, you roll once and you get 3 items, you can pick one of those 3. That was an idea that we had internally that I think went decently well over with the community. So that's one thing. The second thing is, what's in this chest? We used to hide things in our chest. Now we're both in Paladins and Smite. You can see the items that are in that chest, so that if you see that 90% of those items suck and you don't want them, maybe that chest isn't for you. But giving players the visibility to the content that they're purchasing, I think, is a very important thing to make players make sure that they are getting value for their dollar.
Right. Now, another thing I wanted to touch on, since you brought up chests, are the chests weighted by rarity, like the items in them? And if so, do you ever have plans to disclose the rates at which, because some studios are doing that now? Yeah.
I think the industry will move towards that. Are we ready to do it? Potentially. So our small chests that have like 10 to 15 items in them are all weighted equally. Our larger chests that are like 55 items or 60 items, some of our very exclusive content is like, let's just say it's a 2% roll versus a 4% roll for that item. So there are differences in the percent, what do you call it? The probability of you getting the best item or the new item in that chest. So we've done a lot of experimentation with, we used to have it so that it was much harder to get some of the rare items, and we backed off that because we know that that's very frustrating to players. If you roll through a chest, you spent, like, let's say there's 60 items. If you don't get that item as a normal course of action until your last item, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
That's unfair to the player, and it's not like roulette. Like, that the percentages of you getting 00 on the roulette wheel is 1 in 100 or 1 in 99 or whatever it happens to be. I think it's important for the players to understand that they could get lucky in their first roll and get the best item. Like, if our percentages are just so out of whack that can't happen, then that's a big issue. Right.
I really want to I appreciate you answering that question so transparently.
I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble.
No,
Stu's going to be like,
"Aren't you the guy?" Like, I mean,
I probably won't get in trouble for saying that.
Okay, I had another question regarding community involvement.
Yeah.
Because Hi-Rez has always been super good with engaging with the community. Like, there are a bunch of people at Hi-Rez who have only met me, just as an example. Granted, I'm pressed, but they meet hundreds of people every year easily. And I see them out there on the floor talking to people, like really engaging with players, with fans, and that kind of thing. The flip side of that coin is that with the online community, especially when you're talking about, dumpsters like Reddit,
4chan.
Yeah. How do you, that place where the devil makes potty?
Yeah.
How do you cope with the criticism? Like, what is the method that you guys have for taking in the valuable criticism, and what do you do with some of the stuff where people are trying to voice their frustrations? What do you guys do with that information?
We've gotten better. At first, I feel like we let things go a little bit too long. So one of our, every week, one of my responsibilities is to see what is blowing up in our community and make sure that we're addressing that in the right way. Like, having let's just say it's a Reddit thread that chests suck and blah, blah, blah. Let's just say that's the topic of conversation. I would try and reach out to Alyssa or the community management team and say, listen, we should be more transparent about what our actual strategy is. It's going to go over much better than if we let the dumpster fire burn, right? So I think a lot of companies, including Epic and some of these other, Ubisoft, they're understanding that these communities matter. They're the things that kind of, as people churn out of the game and new players come in, they're kind of the common community that holds the games together, and they're very important to the games. So we've been, and you kind of notice that in our communication with our players. We typically will respond to things on Reddit very quickly, whereas on either our own forums kind of don't get a lot of the love. But mostly that's because there's just so much more viewership in those communities than there is in our own little smaller forum communities.
Right.
So, what was your question? How do we work?
Yeah. What's your strategy for addressing that feedback?
So our strategy is we immediately identify the community concern. We talk about it internally. We say, what is the messaging that we want to, reveal to our players? What haven't we been transparent about that they're blowing up on? And we just make sure that we're highly engaged with them. Twitter, Reddit, all of those mediums we are very active on, and we hear the feedback very quickly. We do a patch, within 30 minutes, we have most of the feedback. Because there's so many people that are playing the game that we immediately will figure out where we screwed up and where we need to make sure that that the community understands what our position is. Just recently, what happened? Like we had a really bad switch deploy like just 2 days ago, and you know, we wanted to make sure that the community understand exactly what happened, and we posted on Reddit, like, here was the situation. We made sure we went through our other social channels. We don't want our players to be in the dark, and if they're in the dark, they're going to be mad.
Okay. And just a quick follow-up question to that. What is the best way for players to get feedback to you guys? Like, what's the fastest way for them, or the best way for them to
I can do a
that you
sales
see it?
pitch on our new leadership council teams that we want to form in January. No, I think, so that's kind of the next evolution for us, to make sure that we're getting the feedback. Right now, what happens is we don't get feedback until PTS or the patch note show. Either one is too close to the ship date to make any radical changes to our plans. Like, we can fix bugs, we can add polish, but that's all we can do. We can't change kits of characters, we can't change models. It's too late. So having a 4-month visibility to people that are trusted by the community and by us, that are under NDA, we can share, hey, this is how we're gonna do the set kit, or this is how we're going to do the artwork for set, or whatever the character is. Inami for Paladins, that'll be too late. She'll be out already. But the next champion, hopefully we can get some very early feedback from this small group of players that have the community in their, on their side.
Vote Ragachak.
Yeah. The what?
Said vote Ragachak.
Exactly. I can't wait. That's the thing I'm most excited about, is the new political speeches and videos that people will release to say, hey, vote for me, because my big thing is to fix matchmaking in Paladins, or something like that. Like, whatever it happens to be, or make better splash art.
Thanatos and Loki.
Right, yeah, like, hey, my stance is I am going to push Hi-Rez to delete Loki out of Smite. Won't get very far, trust me. But I can't wait for that.
People like that idea.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure people would love that.
All right,
except all of the Loki players that love Loki.
Yeah, I've got,
That's a video for another day.
We call those people scumbags.
Exactly.
I'm one of them. I play the entire Norse pantheon.
Hi, Truneth.
Nice.
Yeah. I have a Norse hat, Norse shirt. That's my favorite pantheon.
That's your favorite pantheon. Nice.
A question. This is probably going to be the last one I have for you, but so Paladins and Smite have both improved massively over the last year or two. Like, really, like, Paladins is arguably in the best place it's ever been.
I love you.
No, I say that as somebody who's been playing Paladins since Alpha.
Yeah,
like,
same.
Like, religiously.
Yes.
I worship at that altar, but, like, that's so...
It is in the best spot it's ever been.
Yeah, it 100% is. Matchmaking's better than I ever remember it being. It's fun. The events the events are probably my favorite thing, because, like, ghosts suddenly show up on Halloween in your game.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
I love it.
I have a side question about that real quick. I'm going to branch off. Paladin specific. Any plans to make another way for people to get vault keys? Because you get one every 3 months, it feels like, and then
the vault system originated as an idea in Smite, and it actually was different than the way we implemented in Paladins. Paladins was, hey, we have a vault. It's for an event. You get one key, and there's one new skin in there. And then there's other skins that maybe you didn't have the opportunity to get that were in an exclusive release. And this was a miscommunication from us in the player base, because people expected it to work very similar to Smite, because it was called the same thing. Smite's was always supposed to be a year-long vault system where at the end of it, you had the opportunity to get every skin in the vault. In Paladins, what we wanted, because we didn't know how our events were going to be tied together, because it was our first year to basically do events, we said, we want the vault system just to be for that one patch. You get one skin, but if you're not interested in it, here's some other ones that you may not have gotten for whatever reason. that was for us. That was one way we could say, hey, if you're not interested in the final skin, there's something else for all the players, because we have damage characters in there, we have support characters, and maybe you don't particularly like the new skin, which in the first vault I think was Furia, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, see, because now I'm, like, just to use me as an example, as your average player.
Sure.
I'm in a position where I got a vault key from the bundle that I bought.
Yep. And you spent it on one of the other skins, not the skin.
No, I spent it on the event skin. And then,
okay.
And then, but I had to pick, because I wanted the Furia skin, but I wanted the, and now I'm
the
like,
Rave Mave or whatever it happened to be.
and I'm like, how do I get more vault keys? Because I still want that Furia skin, and I don't have it, and it bothers me because that's my main. Like,
yep.
So, but that's. There are other players who I'm sure feel that way. Like,
so what did you? Let me ask you. What would you want? What did you want? Did you want us to have another event? Did you want the vault to carry on with the same skins, or did you want to be able to purchase like another vault key that you could have basically unlocked another skin in the vault?
I would like to either have the vault persist such that it's a collection of skins that grows over time.
Which is like the Smite one.
Yeah, like the Smite one. And then maybe some might cycle out, but like you would give the players a notice, like, these skins are getting... It's like the Disney, when they put movies in the vault, like, hey, cool, these skins are going out of the vault soon, so if you want to get them, like, now's your chance. Spend your key on those if you want them. Yeah, but then here's... You know, hey, because these ones are not going anywhere for a while. But this one, this Furia one, you're not going to be able to get it after such and such a date.
So you like the... vault system that basically persists over like a year, and you're able to collect all of the skins in there if you participate in all the events.
Yeah, at the or being able to buy the keys. Because I would pay cash money for those keys. Like, so
I don't think I have a good answer to the question. I think it's interesting. I think that either could work, and I think that we should talk about to Alex and Garrett to see if they're open to that.
But that would be my personal, like, if you guys want to run with one of those ideas, I will sign off on it.
The Smite way, basically. Or the buying of the keys.
Yeah, but see, this is how they listen. They do listen to feedback, because I genuinely believe he's going to talk to them
I am
about
absolutely.
They're in the next room. I could go talk to them about it if I wanted to.
Absolutely. That's something that we've been debating internally, and it's something that maybe we should look at again.
Now, the actual question I was building up to before we started talking about the vault and the skins was, so Smite and Paladins have grown a lot, obviously. What are some of the things that you personally have fought for to really make sure that the games are growing? Like, are there any like ideas or designs or concepts that you, like, that was your hill to die on, that the game needs this?
Yeah. For me, specifically for Paladins, mine was I hated... And even when we were in pre-production, I hated the pieces and parts system that we called. Basically, the thing that you could swap a head for a body on a skin, or like I know that the community, some people in the community
see the look I'm giving you.
I know
right now.
you love that. But
he loved the googly
I
eyes.
just want to put the googly eyes on the Infernal Makoa skin. Give me that back, please.
Make it a separate skin.
Do you understand that our artists are horrified by that?
That's the point. My main frontliner is Makoa,
you love to troll people.
And I like like finding the creepiest, most evil, edgy looking skin and slapping some big old googly eyes on there. And so that when I grab someone and I do my grab spin,
you're like,
they are face to face with googly eyes. Yes, I want that.
But you have the well, you could use the cuddly Makoa and you would have that.
But the mix and match gives me the opportunity to put the googly eyes on the Infernal skin with the cuddly voice.
Yes.
Because
I understand as an MMO player that you really love that. But the thing that
it's upsetting. That's what I enjoy about it.
So we have those type of trolls in Hi-Rez themselves, and we had
that don't shock me.
That should not. One of the things in Global Agenda when we were working on that game.
Oh, you just made some people cry in the comments.
I
guarantee.
I know. So we had a developer that his favorite thing to do was to take every slider for facial expressions and all the way to either side.
Yeah, you create a monster boy.
Well, in his case, it was this monster girl.
Oh yeah.
And so he was the ultimate troll because he was like making this horrible, horrible, horrible character. No, so so for us, the thing that I would have died, went on the stand to die for would be to save paladins. We had to up our art quality, and in order to do that, we had to remove that particular system because it was just too restrictive for the teams. Like to have things that flow from the head down into the body, even like just for example, like having a cybernetic like skin that had like the pipings that went into the armor from the head to the body. That is not possible. Now to say we had another design. The other design was we were going to have whole skins and partial skins. That was an option.
I actually remember when that was being talked about.
And yes, and it definitely was being talked about, and we actually started going down that way. But then
check our 2017 interviews. That's mentioned in there actually by name. Yeah.
Yeah.
From me or from someone else?
From
Alex,
Ajax.
I think?
No, I think it might have been Dry Bear. I don't remember.
It was probably Dry Bear or Garrett or someone like that.
One of the Paladins guys.
It might have been Juju.
Mentioned that.
It could have been Juju.
We talked to Juju for a while that year.
So that was on the table. That was actually we started development on that system, but it became too complicated. We had to have like, hey, when you equip this skin, things happen. If you equip the head, then you can't. It was just complicated.
Can I propose a solution then? I understand that you had to because the skins have gotten much better in terms of quality for both Smite and Paladins.
Yep.
Let me propose this then.
Sure.
On behalf of everyone in the Paladins community, I'm speaking.
And they're like banging on their keyboards like that asshole.
Like, shut up, that guy, shut up.
No, it's the skinny guy. Tell him to shut up. He should have kept that system. Now go ahead.
Okay, you can fix the whole problem and still have high quality skins.
I should have hired you like last year because that would have been if you have the solution.
Here's the solution.
I really fucked up.
You just release one Makoa skin that's super duper edgy with the googly eyes on it. And you're done.
I was just about to suggest that.
Actually, we have done that.
No one will ever complain about the part system going away ever again because I swear to God that's the only thing they want it for.
Have you seen Squid Head Genos?
Not yet, I have not, no.
Well, he's in the game.
So,
if you look, he has one of the skins that has like a squid helmet on and just his normal body.
Oh, that wasn't the Halloween one, wasn't it?
Yes, it was in the Halloween.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was actually just a parts and pieces skin that we said, okay,
put a hat on
finally,
him.
we're just gonna do this, and
now he's a mind flayer.
So just give us the Infernal Makoa, one of the
Akuma
Makoa.
You're
with
saying
the
you want a personalized skin just for you.
No, I want it for the 12,000
but
people
also
that are going to
for
like
us.
this video.
So all of your viewership
I want it for
wants
me.
the googly eyes Makoa with the infernal
I can guarantee it, yes.
And not just us.
I guarantee if I post this on the subreddit, it'll have 50,000 upvotes by lunch.
We've done this. We've done this before in Smite. Chef Vulcan was a skin that the development team just said. They just said, no, we will not produce the skin because we hate it.
And the community would not shut up about it.
And the community will not shut up about it. And we finally just said,
all right, here.
If
this will make you happy.
If Chuck gets X number of retweets, fine, we're going to do it. And it blew it away by like 10 or 20 fold.
It's the wins Marvel for MOBAs.
Yeah. So I like your idea. If you can get the community behind some sort of like...
Now I have a mission.
You have a mission.
Yeah.
You have a mission. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's the solution.
That is the
And
solution.
MMOHuts is the channel of the people.
I guarantee if you make a Makoa skin that's as grim and edgy as possible with the big old dumb googly eyes on there, you will never hear about the part skin system again. I guarantee no one will ever bring it up.
Well, Makoa.
That play Makoa, then they're going to ask for like the Furia like bastardization. Oh, hey.
Sorry to interrupt. We actually need to get Chris's next.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, that was my last question. So, thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure you subscribe for more Hi-Rez Expo at Dreamhack Atlanta.
Hit that like
content.
button.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Hit the like
Like
button.
for Makoas. Justice for Makoa.
Yes. Yeah. If you
Hashtag
don't want
justice
that
for
Makoa
Makoa.
skin, hit the down votes.
Well, they're going to do that anyway.
The minute they saw my dumb face, they were like, nope.
That's not Omer.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Where's James Blonde? Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We had a blast.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.